visiting here. I want to thank the Untitled Community College and the greater city of Garden City for hosting us today. We're going to start off by a prayer offered by I'm sorry. Stand. One week, 16 attitude of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for being here today. Please bless our proceedings today. Thank you for making it there safely. Please have the microphones to work this time. Dear God, please be with the citizens. They speak to us. Please give them, grant them courage, strengthening, tell us what we need to know. Provide terrorism, redistricting. And dear God, please be with us throughout the day and recess. Safe travel on the house. Your great name we pray. Amen. Please continue standing for the pledge of allegiance to my right and your left. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We want to thank you again. Being here, we're excited to hear from the public on your thoughts about your community. And we're giving you plenty of opportunities to speak after the event. So there will be several sign sheets if you want additional information. Again, this is a listening tour. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Again, this is a listening tour for the committee and the body to hear from you about what is important to you about your area that should be considered as we move through this process. I'd like to take a minute to introduce a few of our members. First of all, from the Senate, Senator Ty Masterson is not here. He's the Vice President of the Senate Redistricting Committee. I am Rick Over, the Chairman of the Redistricting Committee. Ranking members to my left, Sykes, is also on the Senate Redistricting Committee. Representative Paul will introduce his.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Paul, the Chairman of the House Redistricting Committee. To my right is our Vice Chair, President House. And to his right is the ranking minority, which is President Tom Burrows. And then, okay, Mr. Chairman, I also need to recognize the House Speaker, Speaker Ron Lincoln, and the House Minority Leader, Representative Council.
Most importantly, I'd like to acknowledge thank you again for being here today. Very pleased with the nice students we're having in Garden City. I'd like to give the opportunity for Majority and Minority Leader Sykes to say a few words.
Mr. Chairman, and it's nice to be a part of the city. I will say, I'm the daughter of a cattle farmer in Tennessee. We have sent many herds of cattle to you, so thank you. And this is only the first start on a process to redistricting, and the ultimate goal is to make sure our communities are connected and you have a representation that you need to make good policies passed. So I look forward to engaging with you as we draw legal and fair maps. If we can be of assistance to you, so this is not the last time that we have this conversation. My staff is with me today and have contact information. So please feel free to reach out and thank you for being a part of the process. Thank you, Garden Community College, for hosting us.
Thank you, Senator Sykes. Thank you again to those in the audience and committee members who are both online and listening, participating in this process. The listening tour is for us to hear from the public about your community. Just one step in the state's redistricting process with a goal, exceptional and unprecedented transparency access. What you have to say is very important to all of us. We ask the state elected officials to provide their comments at a later time, so we can focus on what the public is here today. We are looking forward to becoming more familiar with your community, hearing what you have to say on things considered as we draw boundary lines and how we improve the process for the benefit of all involved. There was an online sign-in sheet And we had a sign-up sheet here at the entrance for those wishing to speak to the committees. If you did not get a chance and you missed signing up, please do so now. We'll give you a few minutes to do that. A speaker is more comfortable speaking in another language. Will be ensure the speaker's thoughts are more accurately portrayed. We encourage the speaker to use that language. We will have comments transcribed and translated following today's meeting and provided to the committee member, legislative body, and the public. We are also used closed captioning here in this room and online. Also, all the recognized in the city, Spanish talk, Albert, and person to be here today, Valley Rodriguez. So if someone who needs assistance, let us know. The request. Excuse me, I said we expect studying chamber. This time around, redistricting is a little more challenging because the delay of U.S. Census data. By conducting these listening tours, providing us an opportunity to listen to you, the public, and from the communities. What are the unique aspects? How do it change over the last 10 years? What are the things about your community you should think about? In drawing boundary lines. We welcome comments on ways to improve the overall process as well. This listening tour is just one step very long process to address the overall process where we are in that process. I will turn the microphone now over to Jordan from the Kansas Legislative Research Department, and he will give us a briefing on the statutory requirements of redistricting. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senior Research Analyst with the Kansas Legislative Research Department. I'm our lead analyst on the redistricting team. And this afternoon, I'll be providing an overview of the census process and the redistricting process. To start off with, some part of the census is constantly happening. Redistricting is part of that cycle. Federal law requires states have the opportunity to participate in census preparation, and states are required to participate to get census data for certain areas of the state. Working through the census data program, it provides states the opportunity to specify small geographic areas and then to receive population totals for those smaller areas. If we didn't participate in this program, we wouldn't get detailed information about the smaller geographic areas. States, I've already said that. States are required to participate through a nonpartisan entity, and in Kansas, it's through the Kansas Legislative Research Department. We've been working with the census in this cycle since 2015. And each cycle for the redistricting program goes in the years ending in 5 and in the next year ending 5 for that 10 years. There are 5 phases to this program. Phase 1 is the block boundary suggestion project. Phase 2 is the voting district project. As part of that phase, counties submitted maps to update some of the lines for precincts in their voting areas. Phase 3 is delivery of the census data, and that's currently what we're waiting on. As you can see here, we are anticipating legacy files to be delivered on August 12th. Those files take a little bit more manipulation to get to the data. That's why they're considered legacy format. And then the full set of files is a little bit more user-friendly. That'll be delivered by September 30th. Phase 4 is confirmation of congressional and legislative district boundaries. This will be after the process is completed. And phase 5 is next, I'd like to speak a little bit about the 2020 apportionment. So on Census Day, of course, that's a point-in-time count for each state. We were delivered the information for just the state population total earlier this year. So you can see a couple slides back, we had a 2020 population of 937,880. That was a gain of 84,760 persons for Kansas. And Kansas did not get introduced to Congressional. Next, I'd like to speak a little bit about the adjustment. So from 1988 to 2019, the Constitution and Kansas statute required an adjustment of military personnel college students. This was from the total population that we received from the census. However, in 2019, the legislature passed a concurrent resolution, and it was added to the November ballot and approved by voters. And that change removed the requirement for that adjustment. So now we will be using that 2,937,000 under that cited. Next, I'd like to speak a little bit about the redistricting process. So this is the legislative process. The maps are drawn, then they are turned into bill language, and then those bills are subject to the same process as any other bill. It goes through committee hearings, testimonies received on these maps in their bill form, and then they're also subject to amendments. The legislature proposes, votes on, and approves Congressional, Kansas House, Kansas Senate, and Kansas Board of Education district. Just like any other bill, the governor will then either sign, veto, or allow the bill to become law with its signature. And then the Supreme Court must review and approve the state maps. Here's a little bit more information about the steps required after maps are approved by the House and Senate. So these bills are published in the Register upon passage. And then the Attorney General is required to petition the court to determine validity within a certain time period after those bills are published. And then the Supreme Court then is 30 days from filing to enter judgment. And if the maps are considered valid by the Supreme Court, the process is completed until the next cycle. If the maps are invalid, they must be redrawn by the legislature. I've listed here some of the steps about what would have to occur. And basically the process will repeat until the court determines the map submitted. I'd also like to highlight some of the resources available on the KLRD website. So for each map that's subject to technical review, a number of reports are run. You can see an example here. The text is a little bit small, but just know that there are quite a few different reports that are run for each of these maps. And we have the 2012 plan still up on our website. So if you're curious about the types of reports that are running, you can go back and look to see what sort of information is available. And as I noted, it's available on the KLRD website, which I've listed. Finally, I'd just like to finish off with some of our contact information. So we have an office in the State House. We have a phone number you can call with questions. And then you're also able to email redistricting staff at redistricting@klrd.ks.gov. Mr. Terribly, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Jordan. Folks, I'll try to hold this microphone as long as hope you can hear me. It is now time to receive public comment on your communities. Things you would like to consider in regard to the districts and boundaries and ways to improve the process. Some of you have previously signed up and sent in more lengthy public comments as of yesterday. Those documents are in the inbox for each of the committee members and are posted online the legislative webpage for the redistricting committee, ks.gov. Anyone wants to provide public comment later, please send comments to redistricting@klrd.kansas.gov, or if you can visit the website. There is no call update for public comments to send in their comments. The legislative website does not provide instructions. Does provide instructions for providing your comments, and we ask that you do follow those instructions. We are going to allocate 5 minutes per presenter. Vice Chair Brad Rao will maintain the timer and will indicate with the card your time. The Vice Chair will start with 1 minute, 30 seconds, when your time will expire. When your time has expired, you will hold up that card. We ask that you honor that card and end your comments. After a brief reminder, we have received several comments in addition to this. So we will now start with the first operator. One I have on my end is Martha Ferrer, the Kansas House. Welcome to the hearing.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Members of the House and Senate Redistricting Committees, my name is Martha Terhar, and I'm the Southwest Advocate for Kansas Advocacy Center for Law and Justice, a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization who strongly believes that redistricting should be an unbiased and nonpartisan process that ensures every person has their vote counted. Southwest Kansas is a diverse community, full of people with diverse backgrounds and demographics. Equal representation for communities of color matters. We need to work together to ensure that every community is being represented. In our work in Southwest Kansas to encourage census participation, immigrant communities were sometimes left out and left behind. I urge you to make sure that does not happen again during redistricting. To ensure that no community is left out, continue making materials available in well-translated Spanish, and community meetings should be at times that are accessible to working people. Our city is a community full of working class individuals who deserve to have a time where they can attend and also provide their public comment. So let's make this process as transparent and accessible as possible. Thank you for your time and engagement today. I urge you to listen to as many people as you can and really consider the input you hear, especially from people whose life experiences may be different than your own. We are all Kansans, so let's make sure every vote has equal power. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Martha, for your hearing today. The next speaker I have on the agenda is Katie Eisenhower, Scott County Development Commission. Welcome to the hearing.
Good afternoon. I come to you informally just as an attendee and want to see this process in action. And I signed in for the opportunity to speak to you. But my would be Western Kansas is a very, very vital economic driver for our state. We are Kansas, we are values. And therefore, our goods have to be transported. The GDP that comes out of this area is significant, although that number is often debated, but it is significant. And we ask that if there's any way at all, the populace can somehow be recognized as a factor, not only factor. That makes it difficult. I know that. But if we can possibly do extraordinary ways to redistrict, keep the economic impact, so I think that would go well for Western Kansas in an area that is known for big population, but we're trying our darndest to grow this area. And we need your help to do so. And that takes your very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Eisenhower, for being here. We appreciate that. The next country is Joe Gonzalez, worked with the Census. Joe, welcome to the hearing.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I appreciate you coming to Washington, Kansas. I'm a retired educator of 41 years. I also worked with state 9 years in Foster Field. And recently I had just I had got a call here. I had worked from I to and supposedly it got cut short by our then President Trump. But I had got a call a few weeks ago saying if I wanted to work part-time, that they were needing some more census help. There was some enumerators going around knocking on doors. So I didn't know if this was going to hurt or enable us to get maybe there were some people that weren't counted, and I was just curious if anyone would know if there would be any money lost. Maybe we didn't get the right count. I know we have shut down. Also, as president of the BULAC organization, Hispanic organization based here in Garden City, Kansas, which scholarship and work with students of all colors. And they're also a lot of them. Okay, so a lot of students that have this work that grew up here, they're moving out to Eastern Kansas or somewhere else. You know, they feel Southwest Kansas, we're not getting grants, we're not getting certain distribution of maybe food or things that are needed here in South Kansas. We're kind of regarded as being out here where you moved out of Kansas. It's out of mind, but this is just some questions, inquiries that I'm asking that might help situations that might happen later, especially with the census. So, thank you for coming here.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, very much. I was commenting about the operation. I appreciate the fact that you are focusing on your community needs. Are there any other operations? If it's not, or is there any in attendance that would like to come forward and make any comments? Yes, sir. Please step to the podium. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Hi, everyone. Mr. Chair, members of the committee.
Excuse me, what is your name?
My name is Isidro Marino.
Okay, where are you from?
I live in Garden.
That's it.
I've been here since 2016. I'd like to say thank you for providing an opportunity for me to speak to you today on a matter of great importance to the whole Kansas. I recognize the limited time, so I will speak about why the redistricting process should be fair for all candidates regardless of who we are. Without detailed 2020 census data, I cannot make suggestions about the composition of their districts at this time. No one, including yourselves, has had an opportunity to see detailed census results and identify what changes are required to maintain equality of population in our districts. However, I can tell you about my community and why districts make a difference. Working class folks don't have the time to be going through bureaucratic red tape so that they won't intentionally participate civically in our government. Keeping my county and district together for purposes of representation should be fair and transparent. I ask that you follow this listening tour with additional welcome sites and widely accessible opportunities for candidates to participate in this process after the census data and are available prior to the start of the 2022 session. That will enable you to learn from your constituents, identify our communities of interest, and fair representative districts. Thank you for your time today.
I thank you for your presentation. Is there any other attendee or operator that would like to speak? Yes, please come forward. Would you give us your name, please?
My name's Samuel Knight. I live in Coffeyville, Kansas, and so I'm in Montgomery County. So I'm traveling through with my family on vacation, so a little out of my neck of the woods. But I figured since we went to Boot Hill earlier and saw the museum, we were right on the way to just come to visit for a minute, just kind of learn the process. I'm a pastor in our area as well. You know, Montgomery County is one of the top counties in the whole state of Kansas that is losing population. But I would say at the same time, we have some passionate people. Really do, as many counties do. I know the wrong. And I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even know all the ins and outs of what you all will do. But I just want to say, as a pastor and as a proud Republican, I'm privileged to be a chairman, a new chairman of our county of Republicans. I would just encourage you that you give our accountant a good hearing and a good look as a number of both Democrats and Republicans. And we're thankful for the hard work. We're also one of the only counties, or actually the only county in the entire state that has two community colleges. And so for a county that has around 30, probably what's about 34,000, with the new census data, probably around 30 to 32 there. I just ask you to consider those. And I thank you for your service. I'm just amazed that the founders of America, they did something pretty impressive, put some of these things together. Live in a great country. And I want to promote that. Thank you for a moment of just even being able to speak to you. God bless each and every one.
Thank you for being here. We want to thank each and every one of you today for your input. All the things that you have provided. Our goal to achieve exceptional transparency and public access. This was the fifth stop, the 14th stop listening tour. Now we'll be going to Johnson, College, Woodland Park, Kansas City, Leavenworth, and Lawrence. This tour is not a holding time booking book. We are working to all of this to be officially after the tour before the next session begins January 2022. We return to the session. We will be hearing more opportunities to provide testimony. We wanted to get out now and hear about the communities, how they've changed, and how they are affected, which we haven't been hearing from. If you think of something that was not addressed today, ask you as a minimum, provide comments by mail to District, ks.gov, or through the website, through Kansas Legislature Research.org. Thank you again, Garden City. Thank you, Garden City Community College. This opportunity and this facility for us. Audience and committee members for being here. All the ones that are online who are participating. This will be the end of this session. We'll be hearing from you again. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Sure.